Volunteers with the Albuquerque Folk Festival are getting ready for their annual gathering next weekend at Balloon Fiesta Park. The event brings together a diverse group from the community to learn folk crafts and participate in storytelling, music, and dance. New Mexico in Focus producer Sarah Gustavus sat down with two of the festival's organizers to learn what makes this local event truly unique.
I'd like to welcome Gary Libman today. Gary's the festival director for this year and the current president of the board. I also have Erica Garrity, former president and this year's fundraising director. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So the Albuquerque Folk Festival is a little bit unique. It brings the community together, not just to watch what's going on, but to learn at the festival. Gary, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. I would say we're probably the biggest participatory festival maybe in the nation because we have 130 workshops and events going out through the entire day. And people bring their instruments or their dancing shoes or their voices, and they can have beginning, intermediate, and advanced lessons basically by people who live in this area who are really very good quality musicians. It's really quite nice.
And Erica, the people who come and are teaching, do they also go learn something new on the side for themselves?
Well, they do, and that one of the things that we try to do is to also bring in some national and regional talent, and we ask that talent also offer workshops. So that provides an opportunity for those people in our community who are teaching workshops to also go to a workshop and learn something themselves.
If people go this year, what are some of the things they might see? The instruments, the demonstrations, give us a visual of what people will see.
We try to keep it accessible. So one of the things that we do is offer instruments that are easy to get, like a harmonica workshop. One of the things that we're offering this year is a leaf workshop. So you can learn how to play the leaf. And obviously very accessible, but you can also learn things like harmonica. We have a musical saw workshop. We often offer bones. I don't remember if we have that this year, but things that somebody can go out and buy for a couple of dollars or pick up at a thrift store or something, yep, and make music for themselves so that they can take it with them all year long.
One of the things that's kind of unique is we have something called the band scramble, where people put the names of their instruments into one of the little hoppers, a mandolin hopper, a bass, a cello, or various different instruments. And then we actually literally pick from each of the buckets, and we put together bands of people who've never played together. And they have 1 hour to practice, and then they go out, they come up with usually a pretty funny name, and they perform, and it's shockingly really good. But the nice thing is, because we're participatory, we have very advanced people with people who are not so advanced, and they get to play with these people who are really good, and it's really a very, very good learning experience for them as well as a tremendous lot of fun for the audience.
So all ages are welcome?
All ages.
All levels. What about people all physical ability, people who might have some challenges? How do you help them participate and get something out of the experience as well?
Okay, well, I'll let you.
Sure. We are at the Balloon Museum, which is it has good access for everybody, but also we have vocal workshops, we have body percussion workshops, we have the special orchestra comes and performs at our event too.
What is that, the special orchestra?
Special orchestra is a group of special needs folks in Albuquerque who they perform instrumentally, and they also have a dance troupe that dances on the stage next to them while they're performing, and they do this year round. So that's something that others can join if they're interested. Families have somebody that would like to learn to play an instrument, and I believe that they tune all of the instruments in such a way that it's very easy for people to pick up an instrument and just learn it off the cuff, essentially.
That's great. Gary, our third guest at the table today is your auto harp.
Yes.
I'd like for you to do a
Sure.
little demonstration for us.
Sure. Let me put my little picks on here.
Now, how long have you been playing the auto harp?
I would say for about 20 years or so. And one of the things I'd like to demonstrate is there's a very famous auto harpist by the name of Brian Bowers, who's actually been to the Albuquerque Folk Festival. And he kind of taught me a special little way of showing the auto harp in a kind of an interesting light. And I'd be glad to do that. This is the auto harp. It's a beautiful instrument. It's, I could just sort of, could I put it here?
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing about the auto harp is that a lot of instruments are just all strumming kind of instruments. And some are just melody instruments. With the auto harp, you can strum. Actually pick out the tune with your middle finger. Then I can add a low harmony with my index finger and upper harmonies with my ring finger and my pinky, and sort of all theoretically all comes together. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much. Erica, do you play an instrument?
I do. I play stand-up bass and a little bit of mandolin, a little guitar, and I sing.
One other thing I want to talk with you guys about, you met at the Folk Festival. Tell me a little bit about that.
This is true. My band, with Placitas Mountain Band, several years ago, like about 10 years ago, even longer, maybe 12 years ago, was performing at something called Jam with a Band, where the band would play and people come and bring their instruments and play along with the bands. It's a very nice way of doing things. And one of the people who set this up for us, who was running the Folk Festival at the time, was Erica, and we communicated by email probably for a couple of years, and then we met at the Folk Festival, and
Yeah.
the rest is history.
He likes to tell the story about how I planted I didn't know what he looked like because we had been,
We've been communicating, but we
by
never,
email.
I didn't know what she looked like, she didn't know what I looked like.
I planted my bass down next to them just to jam. It was a freestyle band jam, out on the lawn, and then we met for the first time, and over some time we got to know each other through the Folk Festival, and he always makes me laugh, so
And now you're married.
I fell in
We are
love.
married. We got married on the top of the mountain of Sandia, and with 150 musicians with us, so we had a lot of musicians playing at our wedding. It was quite nice.
Are relationships, friendships, or romantic relationships really a part of the festival? Year after year, people make those connections that they keep?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I know several people who met and got married after after meeting at the Folk Festival. But also relationships, friendships. One of the things that happened for me, and I think has happened for a lot of people too, I first went to the Folk Festival because I wanted to take a mandolin workshop. I was just learning mandolin. And when I got in there, somebody welcomed me into a jam. And I said, oh, no, I can't. And they said, no, just try it. And they all made me sound good, even though I was beginning mandolin player. So, and then I got to know those people, and I started jamming outside. That's one of the wonderful things about the festival, is that it's this connecting place. So there's jams that go on all around the city, and there's workshops, and there's dances, and there's all these community events that go on all the time, year round. But you come to the Folk Festival and you start connecting with those groups, and you go out and you try this jam and that jam, and I got involved in contra dancing, which I had never done, and I got involved in Kaylee dancing, which I had never done. And I met people in all of these groups, and so I have hundreds of friends. And I was relatively new to Albuquerque, so I didn't know that many people, and it's been a very expanding experience. And I know that there's been a lot of people who have had that similar experience.
Yeah, from our perspective, since we're an all-volunteer organization, so we spend about the entire year putting on this one-day festival, although we do a lot of things for the city throughout the year as well. And we get to know people who are volunteered, and they become friends. Bands have formed, literally, contra bands and bluegrass bands and old-time and Celtic bands have actually formed because of the folk festival and people meeting at this thing. So it's a wonderful opportunity for the folks of this area.
And people who have not been involved in this may not know about the folk ethic and what that means and how it fits in with the values of this festival. Tell us a little bit more about that, Erica.
Well, the idea is that we pass on our knowledge and our traditions, and that we are community members passing on those traditions to other community members. And our mission has been, our folk ethic has been really to focus on that as a festival and not on the performance aspects of things. You have plenty of opportunity in this world to sit in front of a television or to go to a performance. But what we want is for people to have a connection with somebody they're learning from or teaching, and also to be able to take that back to their house with the sort of that front porch, the days when you would get on your front porch and you would jam on the front porch and the rest of the community would come around and maybe a spontaneous dance would happen, and you form community that way.
And that includes children as well. One of the things we have is an instrument petting zoo where children and adults can just pick up instruments. We have 70, 80 instruments that they can pick up and just try things. And we've had several people come back and say, I picked up that violin and I'm really kind of interested in taking some fiddle lessons and so on. And it's just makes us feel good when we get these kind of nice little feedback like that, really.
Well, we will post all the information about the festival, the details, on our website, newmexicoinfocus.org. Thank you both for coming in today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.